Hello, welcome to my channel. In the topic magnetism and matter, we have discussed diamagnetic materials, paramagnetic materials and ferromagnetic materials with their properties. Today we will discuss another property, and that is of only ferromagnetic materials, called hysteresis. What is hysteresis? What is learned by it? This we will learn today. I will tell you in a very interesting manner. So, stay connected with me, and before proceeding further, I would like to say please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon. So, let us discuss what is hysteresis. The hysteresis and its study helps us in proper selection of materials for using them as a permanent magnet or electromagnets or temporary magnets. How we will study about hysteresis? We will consider a ferromagnetic rod. Suppose a rod of ferromagnetic material which is placed in a hollow space of solenoid, and the current carrying coil of solenoid like this. This is in this way. Suppose the current flow through the solenoid, and what will happen if the current flow through the solenoid? We have read that current carrying solenoid is the example of magnetic field. So, if the current begins to flow through solenoid, then magnetizing field intensity, suppose that is H, will be produced, and if the rod is placed inside, then what will happen? The rod will become magnetized. We will learn the hysteresis loop. I will tell you the meaning of hysteresis after the explanation. Then how will you learn hysteresis? We will learn how much H is applied. What is H? Magnetizing field intensity. And how much is the magnetization, that how much is the rod which is placed in solenoid is magnetized. So, suppose we draw the curve at which, at the axis x and y axis, we will plot the curve like this. These are the axes. Suppose at this axis H is taken, and here the magnetization M. Magnetization is also represented with the I. Here I have written with M. What is magnetization? Magnetic moment per unit volume of the material. In the beginning, when I is 0, that is this current in the coil is 0, no H, no M, no magnetizing field, no magnetization takes place in the rod. So, suppose at the point O, what is at O? Everything is 0. When the current begins to flow, then H is present. Then as H increases, what is observed for M? It is like this. As H increases, the M increases in this way. That is, H and M are not directly proportional as in the case of paramagnetic. So, here in the ferromagnetic substances, we can say that M and H, they are not strictly proportional to each other. What is seen, that as H increases, M increases in this way, magnetization increases in this way, and at particular value of H, what happens? The magnetization becomes constant. This is called, at this point, suppose A, this is called magnetic saturation. What is the meaning of magnetic saturation? That if you increase further the intensity of magnetization H, there is no increase in M. What will you explain? That the rod kept inside the solenoid is totally magnetized, fully magnetized. All the domains of the rods are having their orientation in the direction of magnetizing intensity. So, till the point O to A, at the point A, what we have got at A, maximum magnetization. Now what happens if H is reduced? Now after the maximum value of current, we start decreasing the current. What is observed that the fall of magnetization is not again proportional to H. At this point B, it has been observed that magnetization is 0, or H is 0, that is H is 0 as current. We decrease the current, and whenever the current will become 0, H will become 0. Still the magnetization persists. This is said that magnetization is lagging behind H. When H increases, magnetization increases, but when H is further increases, magnetization doesn't. Now when H is decreases and becomes 0, still the magnetization persists in the substance. So at B, H is 0, but M is not 0. This value of OB, this is called, what can you say, residual magnetism or remanence or retentivity. How will you say that what is OB? OB is retentivity or remanence. We can say residual magnetism and how will you define residual magnetism? That when the magnetizing force ceases to act, stops acting, even then what is the magnetization persists, remains in the substance, that is called retentivity. This residual magnetism is also called retentivity. What does it mean? That whenever applied magnetic field is withdrawn, still the magnetism is retained. So what should be the criteria for permanent magnets? That they should have high retentivity. Now further from B, again we have to suppose demagnetize, or the domains which were oriented at A in the all the domains in the direction of magnetizing field. We have seen on reducing the field magnetizing intensity to 0, even then all the domains does not come back to the original position. So to make them in the original position, what is done? H is increased in the negative direction. Reverse magnetizing intensity is applied. So how will you apply? By making the direction of current in the coil reverse. What is observed then? That at certain this point, we observe that this point, suppose its name is C, that at OC equal to this minus H, you can say that at this reverse magnetizing intensity, the magnetization becomes 0. You know, at point C, the value on y axis will be 0. What will be 0? Magnetization. So what is seen? That at C, for reverse magnetizing intensity, the magnetization becomes 0. So this OC is named as coercivity. The OC is coercivity. And how will you define what is meant by coercivity? You know, coercivity is at H axis, magnetizing field intensity axis. Then how will you define what is the meaning of coercivity? That is that negative, that magnetizing field intensity applied in the opposite direction to make residual magnetism 0. That is, whatever the residual magnetism was here at the point B. To make it 0, the magnetizing field intensity is applied in the opposite direction. So, coercivity is the measure of that reverse magnetizing field in opposite direction to make the residual magnetism 0. Now, at this point C, the all domains are again in the original position, and we can say the substance is completely demagnetized. What happens? Again the current is increased. So, we find that after C, the increasing current makes the saturation of the substance in the opposite direction. Suppose at this point D, now all the domains which were magnetized at the point A in this direction, that is in the positive direction of magnetic intensity, now all have again their orientation in the opposite direction of first case. So, here again at point D, what you observe that magnetic saturation in opposite direction and reverse magnetic field is here maximum. So, at maximum H, maximum magnetic saturation, then again from maximum to 0, suppose magnetizing current is again decreased. So, what is observed that at this point from D, suppose this is the point E, at E this is the retentivity in opposite direction, and from 0 to again that position F, we find that at the value of H equal to F, what is the ferromagnetic substance and its magnetization? We find again that magnetization of ferromagnetic substance totally 0. Then from F to A again through this path, what we observe that from O to A magnetic saturation, then at B residual magnetism. All the domains are not brought in the same direction, they are brought at C in the same direction, that is the magnetization becomes 0, the substance come in the original position here. Then again increasing H in the opposite direction, we find magnetic saturation in the opposite direction. So, from A to B to C, D, then E to F and A. This complete cycle is called hysteresis loop, and we observe the two main properties, that is retentivity and coercivity. Here what do they say? That larger will be the retentivity, more will be the magnetization retained by substance whenever the cause of field, magnetic field, is removed. What is coercivity? Larger will be the coercivity, means that it will be difficult to demagnetize it. Higher magnetizing intensity is required to demagnetize the substance. So, what are these two properties? You can say that these are two properties required for making the ferromagnetic materials to be used as permanent magnet like steel. Another thing, what I want to say here, that the area of this loop is equivalent to the energy lost in substance, that is in the per unit volume of the substance. How can you say? Why will you say that energy is not conserved? Look here, that we cannot say that the energy is conserved, because whenever the current is increased, magnetizing field is increased from 0 to certain value, up to which the maximum magnetization occurs, all the domains are oriented in the same direction of as that of the magnetizing field. What we observe, that energy is absorbed by the ferromagnetic substance. Now, what happens, that when energy is absorbed by the substance and when H is removed here at this point B, when H is removed, the domains do not come to their original position, that is M is not 0. Then what happens? This is called hysteresis effect. The energy supplied is not fully recovered. That means energy is lost as heat and in quantum processes. So this energy, this loss of energy is also can be known by knowing the hysteresis loop of different materials, ferromagnetic materials. And why hysteresis? Because in the whole process we have observed that from O to A or A to B, M is always lagging, that magnetization is lagging behind H, that is called, this is hysteresis. Hysteresis means lagging behind. Who is lagging behind? Magnetization with the magnetic intensity. Now, what is the relation of M and H, or you can say magnetic susceptibility of ferromagnetic substances and H? For one value of H, you can't say one value of M that is fixed. There is no unique value of M for any unique value of H. How? Let us take some point here. Suppose at this point we have, suppose the value of magnetic field intensity is H dash. For H dash, a single value, what is the value of magnetization? How will you say? Here at this point and here at this point, there are two values of magnetization. Which value? That is why in the books it is written that the magnetization is not unique for a given value of magnetic field intensity of a ferromagnetic substances. The magnetization depends, its value depends that what is the history of that substance. What is the meaning of history? That whether it is being magnetized or it is demagnetized, in what, at what value you will consider. Here at the point 1, 2, which value? There will be two values of magnetization corresponding to H dash. That's why the H and M, they are not directly proportional, and M has, it does not have its single value, unique value for the one value, single value of H. Now energy is not conserved. We have seen that energy is conserved in the reversible processes. This process OA is never received, you can never reach OA. You O to B, C, D, then E to A, then again this cycle, this is called cycle of magnetization. This is repeated again and again, but OA is never reached. Once it has been reached, so energy is lost in the cycle of magnetization. Now, how this property, study of this hysteresis loop is beneficial to select the materials for making their use as permanent magnet or soft, that is temporary magnet. How the selection of magnetic material is done? Look here, for permanent magnets, what is essential requirement for permanent magnet? Before that, we should know what is the coercivity, retentivity we have seen. What is the meaning of high retentivity? High retentivity means that a strong magnetic field is produced. In the graph OB, if it is more, then more will be the retentivity, means more. This is retentivity. If will be more, then more will be the strong, will be the magnetization, that is strong magnet will be produced. Next, high coercivity means, high coercivity means M is not easily destroyed, that is by a strong magnetic fields or by temperature variations, by minor mechanical damages. If a magnet is there, then its M magnetization is not destroyed. So for making permanent magnet, the substance should have high retentivity, high coercivity. So what it has been selected, that permanent magnet, the material should have high retentivity and high coercivity. The hysteresis loop for permanent magnet, a magnet which is permanent magnet, it has been made, then hysteresis loop, its area is immaterial because it is never put for the cyclic magnetization changes. So these two factors are important for making a substance permanent magnets. And what are the substance? Alnico, lodestone that is naturally occurring, and cobalt steel. What about the steel? The retentivity of soft iron is little greater than the steel. It has been observed, look, that for the soft iron, if you draw the curve for soft iron, I am making the curve for soft iron, then this curve is like this. The soft iron has, this is a curve for soft iron, slightly greater retentivity than steel, but it is, don't get confused that the retentivity of soft iron is, this is little greater than that of steel, but it is overweight by its smaller coercivity. What is this? Coercivity. Look here, what is the coercivity of steel and what is here? So that is why steel is preferred for making permanent magnet. What about soft iron? Look, electromagnets or soft iron is used as a core in transformer and telephone diaphragms. Then what it has the properties that electromagnets we require to make electromagnet, then temporary magnet, as soon as the magnetizing field intensity is removed, magnetization should be removed. Then what is the property of soft iron to be used as electromagnet? Low retentivity and high permeability, and especially at low H. High permeability at low H, H is magnetizing intensity. Look, at only this value of H, the retentivity is very high. This coercivity is very less, and especially only at low value of magnetizing field intensity, high permeability. High permeability means how it is useful in transformer. You know, if there is a transformer made up of soft iron has high permeability. High permeability means all the magnetic field lines will pass through the material. They are confined to pass through the soft iron core. So other stray conductors, if they are lying there, they will not produce any induced current. Also, the high permeability will produce high flux. High flux changes, the flux leakage will be minimum, and efficiency of transformer will be increased. So what are the uses of soft transformer cores when soft iron is used? Then for what purpose it is used? What are the benefits of soft iron to be used as core in transformer? It's low hysteresis loss. Low hysteresis loss, hysteresis loop area, if it will be less will be the energy as a heat. Less heat loss will not going to disturb that heating will be produced, will be less, because excessive heating may damage the insulation, may break the insulation. And high mu, I told earlier, to get large number of field lines confined within. And high resistivity, what is the benefit of that? To reduce eddy current losses, which we will read in next chapter. And soft iron has its low coercivity, so it is easily and highly magnetized and demagnetized. These are the properties of soft iron which are very useful to be used, soft iron, to make the electromagnets or temporary magnet. These properties are very useful. And high permeability of iron is also very useful in making used as magnetic recording. A ferromagnetic substance may be used as a device for storing memory. How it can be used? We have seen, look here in the curve, that when O2A, the magnetic saturation condition is achieved, all domains are directed in the same direction, but when the magnetic field intensity is decreased, at the point B, we have seen all the domains, they retain certain memory in that direction, certain orientation in that direction, that is useful in making that device for storing memory. So, in this way we have learned today what are permanent magnet and which materials are used to be used as permanent magnets. They are selected for making a permanent magnet: steel, alnico, cobalt steel, there are so many. Then how hysteresis loop area, it helps to give the value of coercivity, retentivity, coercivity, and how the soft iron and steel, its values are, its uses, and how the materials are selected for making soft and the permanent magnet and electromagnet or temporary magnet. Electromagnets are used in cranes also, and hospitals also, and also in the various purposes to have the heavy iron or steel to place from one to be transferred from one place to other. How electromagnets are used we have seen today, and I hope you must have enjoyed that how the easily magnetizing and demagnetizing property of soft iron and highly magnetizing property of soft iron makes it different from steel, and how the soft iron is useful in making cores of the transformer and as well as core of galvanometer and so many other devices. I hope you must have enjoyed it. Thank you.